Good evening and welcome to another episode of How Hutch Cooks. Tonight we're going to try and do some magic and see if we can make some recipes work that we haven't tried before or we're not sure how they'll cook up. It sounds simple, but we're going to be doing a steak sandwich. However, the steak is being prepared at the moment in a sous vide and the steak was a beef roast, which was meant to have 5 hours of cooking. We put that in at 1:30 and we'll see if we can turn a roast beef into a piece of steak, a piece of roast beef into a piece of steak. I've come on a bit early, as you can see by the now world famous clock, because I'm going to also try and make a relish that was published on our golfing website. The cook there has put through a relish recipe for us to do while we've been in isolation, so I'm going to have a go at that so that we can add that to our steak sandwich a little bit later. So we're on air now, principally to start the relish off. It probably needs a good hour and a half cooking, so it'll be a while before we're back. Before that, they know who they are. Today, a good friend in Sandringham, and she knows who she is celebrating her birthday. I don't know what it is, and I'm sure she doesn't need me to know what it is. She knows who she is, and she'll be celebrating it with her son's girlfriend, who 10 years ago this week, sailed into Sydney Harbour and I suppose Circular Quay, I'm not sure, after a solo sail around the world. She knows who she is. I remember following her for the last quarter of her trip after thinking she was mad when she set off. And when she stepped off that boat and spoke to the then Prime Minister, who tried to lead her down all sorts of silly paths to promote himself, held herself well and truly above the tricks of the politicians' world. A very honest and impressive performance. I watched her again this week on Insight and was only even more impressed. So to those two, and they know who they are, I hope you're having a nice time in Sandringham, and we'll leave it at that because we don't need another person who will be in Sandringham to be grumpy. I'm sure he's not. So they know who they are. On with tonight's cook, or the start of tonight's cook, with the relish from the Commonwealth Golf Club. The relish will start. Today I tried to get some ripe tomatoes. I couldn't get them. I've bought 2 kilograms of tomatoes, just normal tomatoes. We hope they'll cook up. They're probably not ripe enough, but we'll see. I was meant to blanch them and peel them, but I've never had any trouble with skin on tomatoes, so I'll be leaving the skin on those 2 kilograms of tomatoes. I've also diced half a kilogram of onion. That will go into the cook as well. So on with the cook. To start with, apparently, I have to put about 60 ml of olive oil into a saucepan. I've chopped up a good 5, probably a few more cloves of garlic, because some were a bit smaller than what I would have called a clove. So I'm going to put those in there, and I'll put them in there along with, and I'm going to have to read the recipe. 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard seeds. So I've got my mother's, and it's probably my grandmother's tablespoon, which is the official measure of tablespoons, of 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. So we'll put that in there. And we've got to have 2 tablespoons of cumin. So ground cumin, 2 tablespoons. Oh dear, it's got one of these shaker things on, so It'll be a bit of a guess. But that looks pretty good. 2 tablespoons of cumin. It's all cooked with love, so it won't matter. And then 2 teaspoons rather, of ground coriander. And I'll pull the cinnamon out. Wouldn't you know it? I'll be back shortly when I find some coriander. See you soon. Back again, sorry for that short delay. Whoa. Haven't closed the pantry. You'll see a display of onions. Found the coriander in the pantry. That was lucky we had some. And there's got to be, where's this dangerous too? Small teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of ground coriander. This has got disaster written all over it. I'll take a guess. That should be a bit more, one for the pot. That should be alright. So we just let them braise away, for lack of a better word, till we get some fragrance coming out of there, out of the pot. So just mix with that oil. That's starting to smell fragrant. So to that we add half a litre of cider vinegar. Bought a new vinegar today. Should put the old one in, but this is fresh. You can have fresh vinegar. Gotta make sure it is half a mil. That's a lot of it. Yeah, half a litre, 500 ml, half a litre of vinegar, and it goes. You can smell those seeds and that now. Maybe I should have let them go maybe a shade longer. Then we'll put in the onion. I hope I've done this right. Yep, onion and tomatoes, so they'll go in now. In goes the onion. Got to get a bit more of that out. 2 kilogram of tomatoes is a decent whack of tomatoes. This is going to take a little bit of time. Whoa, they're going to fill the pot too, look at that. Look at that, but they'll go down. Here we go, one for the pot. 2 kilogram of tomatoes. And I'll put a bit of salt, about 100 gram of sugar, raw sugar, and we let that boil and cook down for at least an hour until we get a good consistency and reduction. It looks like it's, to me, it'll take that a full hour. So we'll be back later when we put this magic steak sandwich together, and we'll see if the magic works. Okay, back again after a little bit of time to see if we can bring this baby home relatively quickly. The tomato relish is reduced significantly, but I still don't think it's quite there, but we're going to make do. Alright, to bring this home, we're going to, I bought some sourdough bread. I'm just going to throw it in the fry pan and just put a bit of char or a bit of toast on it before we cut the steak, and see what that looks like. Alright, in the middle pan I've got some, I've sweated some onions for some caramelised onions. I'm going to put in a glug of balsamic vinegar and a little bit of sugar just to finish the caramelisation. Bit of raw sugar just to finish the caramelisation. I'm also going to put the recipe called for about 100 gram of sugar into the tomatoes, because we know sugar and tomatoes are a match made in heaven. So just put a bit of this in here and get that to combine with the relish. Give this a bit of a stir. They should be good in a minute. I'll put a bit of butter on these, I'll turn them over. Just char them a bit on the other side. Onions looking good. I went to the Richmond farmers market yesterday and bought some real spinach. So I think I'll just get some leaves of this and wilt them down to just roughly chop the leaves. Never seen spinach like this before, too much time in the supermarket. And I'm just going to put them in with the bread for the moment to get them to wilt down with the bread. And the toast. All coming together okay. Spinach in, roughly chopped. I might just taste this. I'm going to put some, oh, for some reason it's turned itself off. Didn't want that to happen. Well, that's coming together. Oh, everything turned itself off. Back on, back on, back on. Okay. All good. All good. Couple of plates out. Sous vide. This has been in a water bath in a sealed bag for the best part of 5.5 hours. I'm just going to cut it out and see. It should be cooked. Remember, it's a roast. It should be cooked though to medium rare, and then we're just going to seal it off. If all things go to plan, well, I'll get rid of that. In the fry pan to give ourselves a bit of caramelisation on the thing. Oh, this toast is burning. Time to take the toast out. Here comes the toast. Looking good. Spinach leaves are just. Let those wilt down, because I want a hot pan. A hot pan to finish the steak, which we'll do in a minute. So those spinach leaves have come down reasonably nicely, and we'll plate those. Just put a bit of spinach leaf onto our toast. That can could have cut some more off, but let's not worry about that. That's looking good. The pan's ready to take the steak. Caramelised onions coming along well. Let's see if we can turn a roast into the steak, the magic of tonight. We can cut about a 3/4 inch, 2 inch. That's cooked beautifully. Don't know if you can see that, but it's a nice colour amongst the steam. So we'll cut a couple of steaks because there's only two. It's coming apart. It's a bit of a nuisance. We'll cut a couple. There's only two of us eating tonight, so cut another steak, and it's coming apart like a roast. Not to worry. That'll do for one steak. And that'll do for the other. So we'll put those into the hot pan. No, it won't. I'm going to cut another one. That's got too much fat on it. I'm going to cut through here. So it hasn't held together like a steak, but it will be just as good, I think. That looks good. Nice medium rare to medium steak. You can hear that sizzle as it goes on. That'll be good. We just want to char grill those off. And while we're doing that, I think we'll have an egg with it. That'll be a good idea. So we'll just break an egg into this fry pan with the steak. 1, 2, beautiful. 2 eggs to this steak. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. That's going well. Let's have a final taste. tasting good. I know Wendy likes a bit of spice in it, and you can see we're really firing tonight. I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons of hot mustard in. I reckon that just gives it a little bite. Right. 2. That'll be good. Those steaks ready to be turned. Turn the steak. Put a nice little bit of char, that's all it needed to make it look good. They're ready in 30 seconds. Just get this mustard through, see what that tastes like. We'll start descending. A little bit of salt maybe. And that'll be really good. Alright, time to finish the assembly. We've got the spinach on with a bit of caramelised onion. Beautiful. Turn that off. On with the steaks. And off on the tongs. There we go. They've been caramelised on the outside and looking pretty good, I'd say. Put those on top. I don't know what that was. We'll finish that with a little bit of a spoonful of, oh geez, are we fogged up here tonight? Must be cold. You're not seeing anything much at the moment. Sorry about that. Get on to the producers. We'll put some tomato relish on top. Some tomato relish on top. And there's plenty for tomorrow night and the next night and the next night. Tomato relish on top. Grab any jigger. Take the eggs out of the fry pan. Knock all the tools down, not to worry, turn that off. This one's had an unusual stick, not too bad though. Just needs a little bit, I'm going to flip it for 3 seconds. That'll do. Take her back off. Turn her there. And I'll try and bring this a bit closer, but we're all steamed up. We've got a steak sandwich, a bit of magic because it was a cheap cut of roast, $13, $14 a kilo, a bit of tomato sauce, relish, whatever you want to call it, on a bed of spinach and caramelised onion and sourdough. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the steam, but it gets hot in the kitchen. Catch you next week.